All right, so are you ready to like jump down the rabbit hole?
Always.
Today we're doing a deep dive into simulation theory
Go on.
and
Uh-huh.
get this ways to maybe break free.
Mm.
So
Interesting.
the simulation hypothesis, right?
Yeah.
This is the idea that our reality, like everything we experience,
Uh-huh.
could actually be some kind of super advanced
Right.
computer program.
Mm.
Now, I know that sounds like
Yeah.
straight out of science fiction.
It does, yeah.
But
Yeah.
some pretty prominent people have actually like seriously considered this.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
As a possibility.
Elon Musk.
Yeah, Elon Musk is a
Yeah.
big one.
Big one. Yeah.
So for this deep dive, you have given me an amazing collection of sources.
Oh, good.
We've got academic papers, sci-fi excerpts, news articles,
Oh, cool.
even a social media thread
Oh,
about
interesting.
how some religious texts might actually point
Oh.
ways to manipulate a simulated reality. We've got physics, AI research.
Nice.
Yeah, it's going to be a wild ride.
I'm excited.
But okay, let's start with maybe a basic question.
Okay.
Why would anyone even want to escape from reality? I mean,
Yeah.
haven't we all like dreamed of plugging into some perfect virtual world at some point?
Well, yeah. I mean, escaping to like
Yeah.
a better reality, I
Yeah.
think that's definitely one idea.
Sure.
But some of these sources take it way deeper.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
imagine accessing a higher level of existence
Okay.
beyond anything we can even understand now.
Right,
Or,
yeah.
like, what if you could tap into the simulation source code, gain unimaginable knowledge?
Had cheat codes in a video game.
Totally, yeah. Like those cheat codes
Yeah.
that unlock a whole new level
Yeah.
or give you crazy powers.
In some of the religious texts that you sent,
Oh, yeah.
certain words or rituals
Yeah.
are believed to be like these cheat codes that give you access to hidden knowledge or abilities.
It's a really interesting connection.
Yeah.
Like, what if these ancient traditions
Yeah.
are echoes of an understanding
All right.
that reality can be manipulated?
Okay, now I'm really intrigued. But let's
Yeah.
say, just for a minute,
Sure.
that escaping I is possible.
Okay.
How do we actually do it?
So the sources offer two main paths:
Okay.
assisted escape
Mm-hmm.
and unassisted escape.
Okay.
Assisted escape
Yeah.
kind of implies that there's a benevolent simulator,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Someone
right.
or something
Yeah.
outside of the simulation
Yeah.
who's willing to help us break free.
Like in that Hans Moravec excerpt
Yeah.
where
Yeah.
the simulated beings, they're communicating with their creator and
Yeah.
they're basically like, hey, let us out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But have you read the Playpen story?
Yeah.
That one's even more complex. The Fight, who are already simulated beings themselves, they create a simulation within their simulation
Oh, wow.
as like a stepping stone to
Ooh.
escape.
Okay,
The
so
why?
that's like the simulation within a simulation,
yeah.
within a...
Who knows how far it goes?
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Whoa.
It's like building a ladder out of thin air.
That's wild. But unassisted escape?
Yeah.
That sounds a lot tougher.
That's definitely presented as the harder route.
Right.
Some sources suggest looking for those
Yeah.
glitches in the matrix, like,
Yeah.
those moments where reality
Yeah.
seems to bend or break.
Quantum mechanics is mentioned a lot in this context.
Absolutely.
One source even described it as finding like exploits in a video game.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. And then
Yes.
there's this idea
Yeah.
of creating an incomputable paradox
Right.
to crash the system.
Ooh, like
Yeah.
a time travel paradox.
You know, like a time traveling grandfather paradox or something like that.
That one's trippy.
That one makes my head spin.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so before we go full Back to the Future here,
Right.
I think we need to like pause and consider the ethics of all this.
Okay.
We're not the only ones
Right.
who might be plugged in, right?
Right, yeah.
So what impact would our escape have on everyone else?
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's a bit like deciding to unplug from the Matrix.
Uh-huh.
What happens to the people still inside?
Right.
And what if
Yeah.
what's waiting for us on the other side is actually worse
Ooh,
than
that's a good point.
what we're trying to escape from?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, these are big questions.
Yeah.
Vanessa
It's
considered.
huge questions.
Yeah.
So for now, let's maybe dive into some of the
yeah.
specific escape methods
This
that
is
are
relevant.
proposed in these sources.
All right, let's do it.
But just a warning to our listener out there.
Yeah.
If any of this starts to feel a little too real,
Mm-hmm.
you might want to just take a break
Yeah.
and check that the sky is still where it's supposed to be.
Good idea.
All right. So we've established that escaping the simulation, if it's even possible, is a pretty complex thing.
It is, yeah.
But let's say, for the sake of argument, that we want to give it a shot.
Right.
Where do we even begin?
Well, a lot of the sources point to quantum mechanics for answers.
All right.
It gets really complex.
Yeah.
But the basic idea is that some quantum phenomena, like entanglement or superposition, could be interpreted as glitches in the simulation.
Glitches that we could exploit.
Totally, yeah.
I like that analogy, turning quantum weirdness into like a hack.
Right.
It's like finding that secret back door in a video game that lets you just bypass all the rules.
Exactly. To really get this, though, we need to understand a little bit more about what these glitches are.
Okay.
So, for example, quantum entanglement.
Yeah.
It's this bizarre phenomenon
where
two particles become linked, even if they're super far apart.
Right.
If you measure the state of one particle, you instantly know the state of the other one, no matter how far away they are.
Okay, so if our reality is built on, like, simulated quantum processes, maybe understanding and manipulating those processes could be the key to, like, bending the rules of the simulation.
Totally.
Right.
Yeah, one source even suggested that every new quantum mechanics experiment could be seen as an attempt to, like, hack the system.
Yeah.
Whether we realize it or not.
Wow, that's a pretty wild thought.
It is.
So basically, the more we learn about quantum mechanics, the closer we get to cracking the code.
It's possible. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's possible. Yeah.
Okay, so we've got quantum hacking.
Yeah.
But there was another intriguing method that you mentioned that involves manipulating light.
Right.
Hold on. Manipulating light?
Yeah.
I'm not sure I see the connection here.
Okay, yeah.
How does manipulating light help us escape a simulation?
One of the sources highlighted this recent breakthrough where scientists use light to force molecules to like self-assemble in ways that wouldn't naturally occur.
So they're using light to create something that like shouldn't exist?
Exactly. They basically created this molecular structure that defies the usual laws of physics.
So that sounds a bit glitchy.
Yeah, the key here is this concept of non-equilibrium.
Okay.
Meaning a state that's out of balance, defying the normal order of things.
So
what if by creating systems that operate outside the expected rules of the simulation, we introduce like this instability that the system can't handle?
So it's like overloading the system, causing it to malfunction or crash.
Exactly. Yeah. Now, whether that actually lets us escape the simulation is a whole other question.
Of course, yeah.
But it's a cool idea.
Okay, so we've got quantum hacking, and we've got light manipulation. Are we starting to sound like supervillains yet?
Maybe a little bit.
Okay, so.
And speaking of bending reality, one source brought up this idea about the brain as a quantum computer.
Wait, are you saying our brains are like mini simulations?
It's a theory.
Yeah.
There's a lot of debate about it.
Right.
But the idea is that consciousness might actually arise from quantum processes happening in our brains.
So if that's true, maybe the key to escaping the simulation isn't about physically breaking out, but about like exploring quantum depths of our own minds. So instead of building spaceships or finding secret portals, we just need to like meditate our way out of the matrix.
It's not quite that simple. But the source you shared did propose something called the non-local plasticity theory.
Non-local plasticity theory.
It suggests that unconscious learning, especially through things like subliminal messaging or even like unusual cognitive experiences, can actually trigger changes in brain plasticity.
You know, when you say brain plasticity, what do you mean?
Brain plasticity just refers to the brain's ability to change and adapt over time.
So are we talking about like reprogramming our brains?
So the theory suggests that these changes in brain plasticity could be linked to this principle called non-locality. It's another one of those mind-bending quantum concepts that basically means that information could be exchanged instantaneously, regardless of distance.
Like that entanglement thing
exactly.
we talked about earlier.
Yeah.
So maybe practices like meditation or certain types of brainwave entrainment
potentially
could influence the simulation in ways we don't even fully understand.
It's like we're trying to hack the system from the inside out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a fascinating possibility.
Yeah.
But with all these potential escape methods, I think we have to ask ourselves a really important question.
Okay.
What if the simulation hypothesis is completely wrong?
Right.
What if we're just chasing shadows? It's a possibility. We have to consider that.
Yeah, that would make all this talk of quantum hacking and brain reprogramming seem a bit delusional.
A little bit, yeah.
But even if we're not living in a computer simulation, I think exploring these ideas still has value.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It forces us to think outside the box.
Yeah.
To challenge our assumptions about what's real and what's possible.
Exactly.
And as we've seen, these explorations often lead to real-world breakthroughs in fields like quantum mechanics and nanotechnology.
So even if we never escape the simulation, at least we're pushing the boundaries of human knowledge and understanding.
It's all about pushing those boundaries.
From a process.
Yeah.
Okay, but before we get too carried away, I think we need to circle back to the ethical implications that we touched on earlier. Yeah, that's a good point. Even if we figure out how to escape, should we?
Exactly.
What happens to everyone else? And what are the consequences of disrupting the simulation?
Yeah, these aren't questions.
These are big questions.
We can just brush aside.
No, absolutely not.
We've been talking about all these mind-blowing escape methods, right? Like quantum hacking and even the idea that our brains could be quantum computers. But before we all just like pack our bags for this simulated exodus, I think it's time to like face some hard truths.
Yeah, that's fair.
What if the escape hatch leads us to something worse?
Ooh, that's a good point.
Or what if our escape actually like hurts other people?
Right.
Who are still plugged in?
Yeah, a lot of the sources, they bring up some real ethical problems.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, remember that playpen story?
Yeah.
Even with the simulator who seemed like he was trying to help, things still didn't go according to plan.
Yeah.
The programmer had his own goals.
Yeah.
And they didn't always line up with what was best for his creations.
It's a good reminder that even if there is someone out there controlling things, their motives might not be totally pure.
Exactly.
We could just end up trading one cage for another.
Right. Like some sources even suggest that escaping the simulation could trigger a system crash.
Oh, wow.
Like a total reset.
Like imagine the chaos.
Yeah.
If we accidentally cause the whole thing to collapse.
Yeah. Talk about unintended consequences.
Yeah. It's like pulling the fire alarm in a crowded theater, you know?
Yeah.
You might get out.
Yeah.
But at what cost to everyone else?
It's a good analogy.
And then there's the biggest question of all.
What's that?
What's waiting for us on the other side? One excerpt I read described a situation where escaped beings find out that they were actually part of some cruel experiment this whole time.
Oh, wow.
Like lab rats in a cosmic maze.
That's kind of disturbing.
Yeah, not exactly the liberation I had in mind.
No, not really.
And even if we could guarantee a good outcome for ourselves, is it even ethical to seek individual freedom?
That's a good point.
If it means potentially condemning everyone else to stay trapped.
It's a really tough moral dilemma.
Yeah.
The sources emphasize being cautious.
Right.
Some even say that specific knowledge about escape methods should be treated like dangerous information.
It's like we're dealing with
it kind of is.
A cosmic Pandora's box here.
Yeah.
But isn't there a chance that just being aware of the simulation could have a positive impact?
Yeah, a lot of the sources talk about that.
Okay.
They suggest that recognizing we might be in a simulation could shift our consciousness, help us understand how interconnected we all are.
Maybe it could even like help us have more compassion for the people who are sharing this simulated journey with us.
One source argued that the real value here isn't about physically breaking free.
Okay.
It's about expanding our understanding of consciousness.
Okay.
And of reality itself.
So maybe the real escape isn't about finding a secret exit.
Right.
It's about deepening our awareness of where we are right now.
Yeah, it's a powerful shift in perspective. Instead of trying to break out
Yeah.
What if we focus on making this simulated reality the best it can be?
It's like realizing you're playing a video game and deciding to master the game instead of trying to hack your way out of it.
Exactly.
So to our listener out there, we leave you with this thought.
Okay.
If you had the chance to escape the simulation, would you take it? And more importantly, what kind of reality would you choose to create?
That's a great question.
Whether you're plugged in or not.
It's all about choices.
Keep questioning, keep exploring, and keep diving deep. All right, so are you ready?